I thank the gentleman. The gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Ogles, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to the witnesses. A new landscape has developed before us, and the bad actors have clearly figured out a way to thrive in that environment. So I want to go back to Huawei One. Up until January, Apple and Google, users on those two platforms could access. So Ms. Koven, when you look forward to One, what is currently the accessibility for Americans or Westerners to that platform and other platforms that may pose similar risks?
Yes, so we're seeing scam syndicates primarily leveraging these compounds. Huawei guarantee continues to be the common denominator for the majority of scams that we see, and including the laundering of scammed proceeds, as well as facilitating the tools and services needed to perpetrate the scam. Identities and data to contact and reach out to Americans for targeting of these confidence and pig butchering scams.
So if you could wave a magic wand, what would be your fix? What would be the defense, that firewall that we put up here to protect the end user, the Americans, from this type of scamming activity?
So Chainalysis has flagged Huawei in our product so that financial institutions with exposure to Huawei can make risk-based decisions on funds going to or coming from that platform. More regulatory pressure on institutions that are flagrantly abusing or flouting regulatory norms is important. Closing those gaps for AML standards is important because this jurisdictional arbitrage is certainly occurring.
Now, obviously, this is focused in China, but what about, are there other nation states that you have concerns about who are doing similar or learning from other bad actors and scaling up to, quite frankly, abuse Americans? My apologies.
Certainly, if Huawei didn't exist, there would be other jurisdictions, other services ready to take its place. And so we need to continue to use blockchain analytics to understand where these funds are going and where the illicit users wind up having success laundering funds.
Well, back to this platform, when you look at the child trafficking that's taking place and the movement of dollars, there's been, again, the bad actors have leveraged this technology to monetize the abuse of individuals, but in particular children. Again, what are next steps in combating that, being more aggressive in that space as this is becoming really a plague of our society?
So these scams are operated by organized criminal syndicates involved in not only scamming, but gambling, child trafficking, sex trafficking, and being able to find those centers of gravity, inject operational friction, deprive them of funds, seizing funds, and also being able to cause them to be a pariah in the ecosystem is incredibly important, but we need that blockchain analytic capability to understand where the funds are going and identify those behind it.
So in other words, go after the money at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd love to get, when you talk about the regulatory regime that our colleague from the other side, I'd love to get your thoughts over the next my remaining time on what you envision as a regulatory regime for stablecoin, and quite frankly, the caution that we must, how we must proceed with caution, and so that we don't disrupt a marketplace that can be a benefit to the market, but at the same time, understanding that there's victims in the process.
Yeah,